Welcome back to the BiOptimizers Healing, Health, and High Performance program. I'm your host, Wade Lightheart, and today I'm really excited because we're going to talk about brain training, and I brought along my best bro and business partner, Matt Gallant. We're going to dive deep, as I know you like to do, Matt. I mean, this is one of the most exciting things both you and I have done. Maybe the most cutting-edge technology we've ever seen. What do you want to talk about for this kind of thing? What was your experience?
Yeah, well, so what we're talking about is accelerated brain training, but I also want to highlight that it's beyond that. We're really talking about accelerated spiritual growth using technology to validate the progress. And we're really also talking about increasing EQ, emotional quotient, which for me was actually the biggest transformation that I experienced from the whole thing. So, you and I both went to this amazing facility using some of the most cutting edge technology in the world, using a patented process. And what happens is you get to have feedback for the first time in your life in terms of what's going on in your brain. And you can use that feedback to make amazing progress in 7 days that literally would take the average meditator maybe 20 years to achieve.
Well, I mean, I can attest to that because, as many people already know, I've been practicing a form of meditation for, I guess, going on 15 years now.
Long time.
And, was trained by some real great experts, and I really enjoy the meditative process, and it's been wonderful for me. And it's given me so much more value in the world of my ability to cope and emotional awareness and mental acuity, focus, attention, all those things that they talk about. It's legitimate. But frankly, I mean, I was blown away that going into this and being able to leverage technology in a really unique way to get that feedback on your brain and then to go through a specific process that allows you to radically accelerate the benefits of meditation. In other words, I literally experienced decades of progress in a week.
Well, I think it's worth sharing with people the first couple of days of your experience, realizing that a lot of what you were doing was counterproductive. You want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a really interesting point because when you're talking brain states, so there's different states of awareness that we run. There's what's called alpha, beta, delta, and theta, and they're concordant with frequency oscillations in your brain, all right? Mm-hmm. So what we find today in most of the world is that if you're on your phone, in your computer, most day-to-day stuff, you're highly beta. If you're on caffeine or nicotine or alcohol or garlic and onions, for Pete's sakes, these all put you in a beta state. So does like video games. All this stuff is beta. And that's where most of the world is today. And we're kind of living in a bandwidth of mental and emotional acuity. The idea of meditation is to take you into alpha and then ultimately into theta, right? And there are different states that allow you to access different aspects of your consciousness. So alpha would be, if you're talking alpha, it's kind of like the Zen zone. You're in that super meditative awareness.
You're relaxed. You're more at peace. You got less anxiety. You can think better. You can analyze better. That's my experience of alpha. And then theta is really where you start getting downloads. You start getting messages beyond your own mind. And I know that sounds maybe woo for you guys, but that's been my experience, and that's the experience of a lot of people. So it's not just my opinion.
Well, yeah, for example, theta, to explain theta, that's kind of like where you got a problem, maybe you lie down on the couch and go to sleep, and then you're kind of in that, as you go to sleep, the waking moments, and just before you go to sleep, and just when you're kind of in that theta zone. Sometimes you get the brilliant idea that seems to drop out of nowhere. That's a person in theta state. And so just to explain that, where alpha would be concordant with like kind of being in the zone, that high state, like athletes talk about being in the zone, super aware, super conscious of a lot of things going on in kind of like a focused piece.
Yeah, there's different alpha states as well. What you just talked about, that flow state that peak extreme athletes achieve, that is higher alpha. And then you can slow it down even more with meditation and stuff. But here's the point. The quality of your life will dramatically improve if you can produce more alpha brainwaves.
Yeah.
But that's just one piece of it. Let's talk more about the benefits of having done this accelerated brain training. And for me, as I alluded to, the biggest benefit was my emotional intelligence. I really felt a complete transformation. I don't react the same way to things. Like literally, and I'm not even talking about, the second or third thought and processing things and where I go with it. I'm talking about that initial gut reaction to things. Just to give you some examples where things would maybe piss me off, get me upset, get me angry. It feels like a fraction of that initial, lizard man wants to come out and start ripping things. And then, I always had the tools to control that, but I don't even need to use the tools to control that now. Also, with my wife, been a major enhancement in our relationship. So that's huge. Major enhancement with the relationship of, with my business partners, team members, friends, just more love and forgiveness. So that is even more beneficial and exciting to me than increasing my IQ. And maybe you can talk about that piece.
Which one are you? The IQ?
The IQ, piece? Yeah, talk about that experience.
Well, I would say this. I mean, couple of things. First and foremost, when you talked about, I've just made key discoveries in my meditation process. And with the feedback that I got from the experience, I was able to take that to my spiritual meditation coach and give him specific feedback that I never could articulate or provide for him. And he was able to provide course corrections for me in my process. So not only did I get the immediate benefits, but I got the long-term process-oriented benefits. And what was really fantastic about that, going to the increase in intelligence, is what I found is I had kind of reached a ceiling of learning. I didn't grow up in the digital world. I kind of grew up in an analog world or whatever, that. And so I had a good mechanical understanding of knowledges, but I always struggled with technology. I always struggled with, computers and cell phones or learning new programs or anything that was digital. And one of the things with our partnership is I've always admired that in Matt and his ability to learn these technologies. And as people get younger, they integrate so deeply.
Well, just to put things in perspective, one of the first times I met Wade and went to his apartment, I was shocked that he didn't have a computer. I've had a computer since I'm a teenager.
Yeah.
So I couldn't believe. And you were shocked that I had a Palm Pilot.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of it was really wild. It's in perspective.
We've come a long way.
Everything that Matt said about the emotional benefits totally happened to me. But what I've found is after I had completed the training, and the training is intense. Let's not kid ourselves. This is not a fluffy, easy, coast to it process. We're talking 7 days of mega intense
work.
It's work. And
it's work, but it's worth it. But just to attest to what you're talking about with the learning, I've seen a complete transformation in you. I feel you've learned more in the last 6-7 months than maybe the last 5 years before it, with the things that you're studying. So yeah. that to me blew my mind. It really did. For me, in terms, and I'm learning faster. I mean, I've always been a pretty quick learner and study, but I would say I'm 20, 30, 40, 50% faster than I was. I'm flying through books.
Well, and for me, I mean, it's a complete revolution.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where I felt like couldn't handle any more learning,
mm-hmm.
now there is an ambition and a desire each and every day to learn more. And I tend to learn things in a much more efficient fashion. And I tend to learn things that I thought I didn't have an interest in before.
Right.
But now suddenly there's this new awareness and interest and excitement. So the joy of learning new things has now happened just from a result of kind of clearing the cobwebs out of the brain. Like literally, imagine your brain as a series of wires. Suddenly, from the training, you've got stronger neural connections. You have new neural connections. and that allows you to access previously blocked parts of your brain. So it's like a discovery of aspects of yourself that you've never had a relationship with, and it's really incredible. I mean, it's one of the greatest things I've ever done.
There's some more benefits to the brain other than IQ that I've experienced. One of the things that you do there is you really push your brain deep. And the result of that I experienced is a huge improvement in brain endurance and also in flexibility. So, one of the things about the brain is there's three things. There's strength, flexibility, and endurance. And there's no doubt, we could call IQ strength, but endurance is your ability to focus for a long period of time. So before this experience, I would kind of start really dropping around 90 minutes. I could push myself up to maybe 90 minutes. Since that time, and this is not something I think is necessarily optimal, but I've done it because of necessity, I can go nonstop 5-6 hours. I've done it several times. I was never ever able to do that before. So that's huge. And then brain flexibility in terms of being adaptable, not being stuck in one mode or another, not being rigid. That's also very powerful, and that's been another major improvement.
Yeah, I mean, and what's really interesting is, you discover that once you set in motion this plan, it just keeps delivering. You start noticing that you start increasing the efficiency of how you solve problems. For example, I was looking for little simple things. The other day where I was looking for some knives in a drawer that I had never been to before, and I immediately opened 2 drawers simultaneously. Something I never would have done in the past. I would go 1 drawer at a time, and I didn't think about it, and you picked up on it. And there's little things that happen all the time just like that, like tiny problem solvings to solutions that were challenging or cumbersome or whatever become easy and automatic without any thinking. So I think a lot of people build up a lot of, shall we say, static inside the brain because we're bombarded for so many things, and a lot of people are struggling with focus, can't maintain attention or concentration or memory. They're losing memory. I've noticed improvements in memories. And also, this was another major benefit that I just noticed again recently, and that was that I'm now more acutely aware of what my brain needs from a nutrition point of view. I was always really good at understanding what my physiology, my physical, as a former bodybuilding champion, what that needed. But now it seems that I've developed a new cognitive awareness of saying, my fats are a little off today, or I need this nutrient. I can be more sensitive to some of the superfoods are out there, or when we take our enzymes, and I can actually feel it hitting my brain and its effect, and that's like a new level of awareness that I didn't know I had before, and I accredit that to the training. Yeah,
what you talked about, that increase in creativity, as obviously I'm a marketer, copywriter, and I just feel I'm coming up with ideas that I would never have come up with before. So that's money in the bank. And a good friend of mine, Frank, who's in his 70s,
right.
Here's the thing with this technology, age doesn't matter. You will achieve a major boost if you're 25 or if you're 75. So he's gone, and he can't believe the changes and the improvements. So I'm super excited for him. I think it's a great way to not just stop brain atrophy, but actually to reverse and reclaim some of that brain power that you might have lost over the years. So anyways, for all you guys watching this, if any of this is of interest, click the link and it'll bring you to a special page. Just fill out the form and we'll give you more information on this training. This is not our company, but we fully endorse the experience. We know it works. We've done it. We're planning on going again and again and again. So we're very excited. If you want to be a part of it, again, just click the link, fill out the form, and then we'll send you more information about this accelerated brain training.
Well, thank you so much, Matt, for sharing today. I know we're going to bring you back for a lot more of these, these videos, and I hope you enjoyed it. And again, as Matt said, click on the link below, and we'll see you on the next lesson.